Hello everybody and welcome back to Dancer's Feed. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the basics of ballet. So, if you haven't checked out the last video on Brief History of Ballet, I suggest you do that because you will better understand some of the terminology we use in today's video. I'm going to leave a link to that up here to the right. So, I like to start off learning about something with visuals. It really helps me understand. So I thought, okay, let me show you a picture of a ballet studio. So now you know what ballet dancers practice in all the time, and so you have a better understanding of their environment. So in a ballet studio, you're going to notice a few things. Number one, you're going to notice that there's a ballet bar, and that is for many of the exercises that happen in the beginning of class. Then there are always mirrors, and this is so students and teachers could look at themselves and correct their own alignment and technique. There's also proper flooring. In this picture specifically, there's marley floor, but then there's also other types of flooring like wood floor. The most important thing is that the flooring itself is properly installed with a specific type of padding underneath. Because since there's so much jumping, it has to be safe for dancers' joints, and you need to have a specific padding underneath your floor. It can't just be on top of concrete. Another thing you will notice is a specific type of accompaniment. So in ballet studios and conservatories, companies, and college programs, you might notice some live music played by a pianist. But if that isn't the option, then you will definitely, absolutely have a sound system where a teacher can play music from their smartphone or even CDs. So let's go over the attire for women. It's actually quite simple. Women are required to wear leotards, tights, and ballet slippers. Now, of course, in the beginning of class, they might be wearing warm-ups and leg warmers, but that eventually comes off as the warm-up ends. For men, it's very similar to women. Instead of a leotard, they usually wear a fitted t-shirt, but of course, men could wear leotards and also unitards, and they also have to wear tights and ballet slippers. So let's go over the different methods of ballet instruction. And this kind of goes hand in hand with some of the history from the Brief History of Ballet video that I put out. So there are 6 different types of methods of teaching ballet. The first is the French method, which of course is from France. Then there's the Vaganova method, which is from Russia. The Cecchetti method, which is from Italy. There's the Bournonville, which is from Denmark. The Royal Academy of Dance, or RAD, which is from England, and then the Balanchine method, which is from the US. So let's go over a ballet class structure. First, there is the bar. And at the bar, you're focusing on your warm-ups, your stretching, conditioning, memory, and musicality. And some of the exercises include pliés, tendus, dégagés, rond de jambes, etc. Now, as you notice, these words are not in English. They are actually in French. And this is because it was King Louis XIV, the King of France, who codified and structured the words of ballet. So again, if you watch the video of the ballet history, you'll better understand this a little bit more. Okay, let's go over the 6 different foot positions. Number 1 is first position. This is where your heels are together and your toes are turned out. Number 2 is similar to first, but instead of your heels being together, they are spread apart. Third position is where the heel of one foot goes into the middle of the other foot, or the instep of the other foot. Then there's fourth position ouvert, which means opened. So from first position, you're going to just slide one foot forwards, and that is fourth position. Then there's fourth position croisé, which is fifth position, but spread out. And then there's, of course, fifth position, where it's heel to toe and toe to heel. All right, now let's go over the second part of ballet class, which is center. In center work, this is where you focus on your control, your balance, your stamina, transitioning, musicality, and of course, conditioning again. So some exercises include tendu combinations, pirouette combinations, adagio, and petit allegro. And for instance, adagio and allegro are 2 Italian words. So if you remember, ballet originated in Italy, so of course some of the words that we use now are still in Italian. Let's go over the 7 arm positions. So going back to the different methods of ballet, these arm positions are more specific for the French method and the RAD, or the Royal Academy of Dance method. That's because Cecchetti and Vaganova, for instance, have similar arm positions, but they're named differently. Okay, so right now we're going to go over the 7 arm positions for the French and the RAD method. So number one is bras bas, which means your arms are down. And so your arms are curved. They're not touching your thighs. They're up and lifted a little bit. First position is similar to that, but you're going to lift your arms so your middle fingers are completely across your belly button. Then second position, this is similar to the first position and second position feet, because you start with your fingers together, the way you start with your heels together, and then you separate your arms the way you separate your legs for first position and second position in your feet. Next is third position. So the way I think about this and the way I teach my students is 1, which is first position, plus 2, which is second position, equals 3, which is third position. So if you see the picture in the bottom left, you'll see one arm is technically in first and the other arm is in second. So again, 1 plus 2 is 3. Then there's 2 types of fourth positions. One is with one arm up above your head and the other one in second position. And another type of fourth position is one arm above your head while the other is in first position. And finally, there is fifth position with both arms curved around your head, similar to bras bas in first position, but arms again are all the way up. So now let's go over, for me, the most exciting part of a ballet class, which is across the floor. And here is where you really focus on your performance skills, your strength, your stamina, your control, and your musicality. Some exercises include turn exercises like chaîné turns and piqué turns, lame ducks, then a grand allegro, and then waltz combinations. So, of course, many people know that there are pointe shoes involved in ballet. And again, if you watched the video from last week, you'll know when the invention came about. So let's go over the requirements. It requires years of training, so you absolutely have to understand and know ballet and all the terminology before you even attempt pointe work. It requires a lot of strength of the foot, ankle, and leg muscles. It requires advanced stability, control, and balance. And it requires passion, commitment, and determination. And the reason why I leave that last one is because if you were to look up pictures of ballet feet after a pointe class, it might not be the prettiest picture, but that is reality. Your feet do get beat up from pointe work, so you definitely have to have passion, the commitment, and the determination to continue. All right, now we're going to go over some ballet class etiquette, which I think is very, very important. And this is also another reason why ballet is a little different than other dance technique classes, because it is very, very strict. And there's a beauty in that type of discipline, in my opinion. So number 1, arrive on time, or better yet, 5 minutes before, so you could warm up and loosen your muscles. Number 2, wear the proper attire. Again, we went over that before. You could also wear some sweats on top, but that is going to be required to be taken off by center. And wear your long hair up. Of course, should be a bun, shouldn't be a ponytail, because ponytails, your hair could whip into your face and distract you. Number 3, remain standing or dancing the entire class. So in other words, don't sit down. Ever. Unless you're injured, you're standing or dancing the entire time. Number 4, concentrate on dancing rather than socializing. Again, in other words, you're not talking when you go to ballet class. You are listening to the instructor, you're listening to the music, and you are watching others dance, and you're performing yourself. Number 5, mark movements instead of dancing full out when it isn't your turn, so you do not distract the instructor or those dancing. So oftentimes in ballet classes, when there are many people in the class, of course, it's not safe to dance all simultaneously, especially going across the floor. So in this case, there are groups that go across the floor. Make sure that when it's not your turn to go, that you are not dancing full out with them. You're marking your movements. So that means you're doing it at 50% or even 30% energy, where you're just using your arms and not really moving anywhere. This kind of goes hand in hand with number 6. Pay attention when it is your turn to dance, so you do not disrupt the pace of the class. So if you were in group 3, you should be preparing yourself to get ready when group 2 is going. Okay, so if you are group 1, you're always going to be alert and make sure that you're first when the music starts. But if you are after group 1, make sure that you are preparing yourself when the group before you is actually performing. And the last one that I put up on here is thank the instructor with a round of applause and a curtsy or a bow, and the pianist if there is one. All right, now let's go over some of the top schools around the world. These are in no particular order, but some of these might sound familiar to you if you watched the video from last week. So number 1 is the Vaganova School, which is in St. Petersburg, Russia. Number 2 is the Paris Opera Ballet School, which is in Paris, France. Number 3 is the Royal Ballet School, which is in London, England. Number 4 is the School of American Ballet, which is in New York City. Number 5 is the John Cranko School, which is in Stuttgart, Germany. Number 6 is La Escuela Nacional de Danza, which is in Havana, Cuba. Number 7 is the Australian Ballet School, which is in South Bank, Australia. Number 8 is San Francisco Ballet School, which is in San Francisco. Number 9 is the National Ballet of Canada School, which is in Toronto, Canada. And number 10 is the Juilliard School of Dance, which is in New York City. So, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you want to know more, please make sure to check out the blog post at www.dancersfeed.com, where I go into a little bit more detail into everything that we talked about today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and also share with your other friends who love ballet and also your ballet instructors. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Bye, dancers.